Hey friends, Steven here, Gear Stuff and Things, back for another video, and on today's video, well, we're going headless, as you can no doubt tell. So, stick around, we're gonna get into some cool headless guitars that the fine folks over at Zounds were lovely enough to send me to demo and share with you. And, well, I got one right here. I'm sure you probably saw it pop through there from up, so let's just go ahead and get into it. All right, so this is the first guitar we're gonna be looking at today. And this is the Boden Essentials 6-string. This is essentially, the most bare bones version of a Strandberg you can get. That being said, it does not skimp on quality or just features, honestly, in my opinion. It's actually my favorite Strandberg I've played so far, and I'll get into that a little bit later in the video. But let's talk about the specs and what makes this guitar what it is. First of all, we've got no headstock. It does have its truss rod access at the headstock, which is pretty darn cool. I guess you can't really call this a headstock. At the tip of the nub of this guitar, you will find a hole. And the tip of the hole, nub, look, I was trying to say something clever. It just felt like it was going a little sexual, so we're gonna move on. Getting back to the body, fully ergonomic design. It is really aesthetically pleasing to me. I know some people don't like that, but this guitar is not necessarily meant to be purely aesthetically pleasing. If anything, that's secondary to this instrument, in that it is designed for form and function and comfortability of play over the aesthetic appearance of the instrument. That being said, I think it's a beautiful looking guitar. This guitar in the body, or the body of this guitar, look, I don't always have it together, and I'm not going to pretend like I do. The body of this guitar is made out of a lightweight wood called Meranti. And the guitar as a whole, neck, body, parts, everything included, weighs 5 pounds, which is pretty incredible. It's very light and doesn't feel like any less durable or well-made. It's just a light instrument, and that's part of the design concept here. It's to make the guitar kind of just be a part of you and an extension of your expression rather than simply looking cool, which it also doesn't do that in my opinion. Either way, we've got what they call the Future Dusk color here, which is kind of a pearloid purple with a little bit of glitter in it. I don't know how well that translates to camera. I do have a little bit of B-roll there, but in my experience so far, it doesn't translate to camera quite the way it looks in person. It is a very beautiful finish, and it kind of complements the vibe. We've got a handful of contours here that make it comfortable to play no matter how you are sitting or strapped up, whatever you want to do. It's got a nice rest here, so that's comfortable and contoured. Got your belly contour back there. Got a lot of nice access for the upper range there, with a nice contour there for your thumb if you're a shreddy kind of guy. I'm not. You could play it this way. You can play it that way. Play it that way. You do whatever you want. If you have a leg, you could set it on there like this. If you still have a leg, or maybe you want to use the other one, but you decided to change your mind last minute and use this one again, but you wanted the guitar to be more at an angle, so more of a classical vibe, you got that going too. If you wanted to set it there, you could do that. You could go even further. All I'm saying is it's designed for comfort and playability. And yeah, that's the body. We'll get back to electronics and hardware in a bit. Let's move into the neck, because that's always, that's fun. Necks are cool. The neck, we have what they affectionately refer to as the Endura neck. It is a fully ergonomic neck. It is made out of roasted maple. The fretboard is ebony. Let's have a little bit of a look at the neck. I'll have some B-roll as well, but as you can see, there's a bit of a flat surface that's in the center, and as it goes down further, it gets a little closer over here, and then the contour adjusts here. Same thing on this end. The purpose is that no matter where you're playing, your hand's always in the proper playing position, and it should feel normal. Now, this did take a bit to get used to. That being said, once I got used to it, I found myself playing this guitar constantly. Like, I have not really put it down that much since I've had it in my position. It is a really comfortable neck to play. It allows me to play in ways that I don't normally play, and a little more freedom to reach further with the frets. And I don't know if it's just a mental thing or just the actual neck itself and how it positions your hand. I'd say it's a combination of both, but either way, really cool. We've got our standard side dots and whatnot. Nothing too special there. They're not lumen laser or anything. Pretty high specs, including this super unique roasted maple, ebony, and yeah, that's really cool. Pretty cool stuff. Now, the most notable thing, other than the lack of headstock and the nub hole there at the tip, is that you'll see that this one doesn't have fan frets. Strandbergs are kind of known for having fan frets. And this one doesn't. The Essential goes back to your standard vibe, losing the more modern tilted fan fretted thing. I personally am not a fan of fan frets. Fan. Not a fan of fan frets. So I prefer this instrument. It is familiar and new at the same time. I feel like it encourages different styles of playing and different inspiration than your traditional guitar would. So I think that's pretty cool. Let's get back into the remaining specs, and we will start with the bridge, which is what they call the Strandberg ECS cast zinc fixed bridge and string lock system. There it is. To be transparent here, if you wanted to change strings, you would unscrew these to the point that this popped off. You would then have a fully slacked string. You would unlock it from up here and then remove said string, put a new string through here, lock it up this way, then put this guy back in and tighten it until it gets to the point where it starts to allow you to tune. Because of the way this is set up, you have to kind of pre-stretch the strings a bit and get it to where they're at pretty close to tight. I don't know how else to explain that. Like, the tension needs to feel pretty normal before you cut the string, because there's not a lot of wiggle room down here for that sort of thing. It's more of a fine-tuning situation. It is completely independent, so you have each string with its own independent tuning key here, as well as independent access to intonation and independent height adjustment and such. Same stuff as usual, it just looks a little different in how it is approached. At the headstock, you've got these locking bits that are there to lock your strings in. Think Floyd Rose with less headaches. However, this is its own set of headache, but once you do it a few times, it's pretty normal, and it's a whole lot easier than dealing with Floyd Rose. Moving into electronics, we have a Strandberg OEM set, neck and bridge humbuckers. They are bright, they are articulate, and honestly, they sound amazing. I wouldn't change them at all. They cut through, they have plenty of bite and attack. You'll hear that in the demo momentarily. You've got a 5-position switch, so you have lots of tonal variety with these built-in pickups. You're also going to have volume, tone. These are really, really rigid. They feel really substantial as far as the pots they're using. They're just the proper amount of resistance. It feels really nice and tactile when you are turning them knobs, as they say on the streets, if they say that at all. Bolt-on construction, if I didn't mention that already. Strap peg here, strap peg there, and we've got our input jack there. Now the input system is pretty different because it's like a little piece of metal that's mounted in to the guitar, and then your jack is in there. It's pretty cool, really unique feature. I've seen people complain that their cables get in the way there. I didn't have that experience. It was pretty nice. The one thing I did have issues with is if I was using one of those little dongle style wireless guys, it didn't quite sit properly. Yeah, that's the guitar. Those are the specs on the guitar. You probably want to hear it. Here we go. right, so we're back with another one. This is the Boden Standard NX7. It is a 7-string version of the Boden. We've moved away from the Essentials line and we've moved into the Standard line, which is where the features and spec sets start to improve and get a little more fancy. While the body may look the same on this one, it is made out of different wood. So we are dealing with a basswood core and a flame maple cap that has been finished in this lovely transparent charcoal color. Really cool, unique. I'm not a huge fan of transparent finishes typically, particularly glossy ones, but I don't mind this. The matte kind of makes it work for me. I'm not a huge fan of guitars that look like furniture. I'm always afraid I'm gonna make them look stupid or damage them later, and I don't care for that. But you just get solid color guitars and mess those up. That's what I do. Either way, I'm different than you. Most likely you may love this and think it's beautiful, or other finishes similar to that. It's just not something that jives with me. My opinion doesn't matter though. I'm just here to tell you the goods about this jam. So that's the information on the body. Let's get into the neck. The neck is fan fretted, as you can no doubt see, also sans head. We do have our nub hole there. So if you wanted to adjust the truss rod a little, you can do that right there in the nub hole. I'm gonna do this some more because it's foamy. Anyway, 7 strings rather than 6. And with that fan fretting, we are going to have ourselves 2 scale lengths. So your low notes are hitting in at 26.5, your high notes are 25, which is pretty cool. You get a nice slinky feel on your highs, and you get a lot of tension and snap on your lows, which is very cool. It is maple combined with cortisol. It has graphite reinforced truss rod stuff going on in there, so it is quite stable and feels great and balanced. Lots of tuning stability. We've got lumen lay side dots as well as lumen lay fret dots, which is pretty cool. 24 extra jumbo stainless steel frets that are at an angle. Pretty amazing. We do have the Endura neck yet again, but a big wide version of it. Now, and being transparent, I don't care for the feel of the 7-string when it comes to this neck. The 6 is much more at home for me, and I love 7-string and play 7-string regularly. This one just feels off to me. I'm sure it feels amazing to other people, and you may love it. Very ergonomic, and your hands have to take some time to adjust to this feel. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the wood element of this instrument. Getting into the tuning keys, same kind of setup as the other one. These are what they call the Pro Revision 7. So these are a little fancier and a little more fine as far as the tuning goes. They string up the same and you know, work the same. So nothing too different there, just a slightly different model of the bridge with a little bit more play and capability of really fine-tuning things. Same 5-way switch thing going on. We have these cool, unique Strandberg knobs that have a flat surface, so you know where 1 and 10 are. So you can tell by where the flat surface is, so you can kind of use that as a point to move them. So both of them have that. Same kind of feel there, really tactile and rigid. They feel very nice when you're turning them knobs. What else to tell you about other than these pickups right here, which they're a Strandberg custom OEM 7-string soap bar humbucker. They are basically the same thing that's in the other guitar. They just have the soap bar appearance. They sound quite similar. I did notice that this guitar, and I don't know if it's something to do with the covers or what it is, or just the scale, it's a little darker in tone than the 6, and that's okay. It's still pretty cool. The cool thing about these is because they're soap bar style, if you wanted to put something like the Fishman's in it, it would be pretty easy just to swap those out. Same kind of control cavity thing back there, plenty of room in there if you want to get wild with those onboard electronics. That's this one. I'm guessing you want to hear it. So let's hear it. right, so before we wrap this up, I just wanted to show you the gig bags that come with these lovely Boden guitars. Very small, lightweight. They would be really good if you're someone who flies to gigs a lot or you travel. All right, so now that you can see me, I'm just gonna wrap it up here, what I thought about these Strandberg guitars. And well, what I think is they're pretty awesome. And I wanna say thank you to the fine folks at Zounds for allowing me to check them out. If you are someone who is interested in these, the Boden Essentials 6 starts at $999, $999, $999, $999. It is $999.99. And the other guy, the standard NX7, is going to start you out at about $1749. So that's something to consider. It is, you know, it's an investment, no less, but it is pretty cool. So if you're someone in the market for headless instruments, check out the Bodens from the fine folks over at Strandberg. You can find affiliate links below. Until next time, it's been me, it's been you. This is Gear Stuff and Things. Bye.